Just like Undertale, naming your character the same as another character in the game will prompt different responses, and using the name Gaster restarts the game. Deltarune is an anagram of Undertale. Undertale's title is in all caps, while Deltarune's is lowercase. If the player has played through once before, they can simply examine their bed after waking up in the beginning to end up in the Dark World without having to go to school. If the player reaches the Dark World within 8 minutes or uses the bed to skip there, they can find an item called the Wrist Protector that allows the player to hold C in order to skip dialogue, making for faster playthroughs. Attempting to use the cell phone in the Dark World will play the entry number 17 sound from Undertale. The sound that plays when examining the red door at the end of the game is also the entry number 17 sound, only slowed down. A lot of the songs in Deltarune follow the same leitmotif as the Gaster theme from Undertale. Losing the Lancer-Susie fight multiple times will have them rebuild the death machine you designed just to blow it up. The doors used to teleport around the Dark World are the same as the door in Sans' room in Undertale. In the properties of the Deltarune survey_program.exe file, the version number is 0.6.6.6. Both Rules Card and Sham look very similar to WD Gaster, though there's no mention of the man who speaks in hands throughout Deltarune. The enemies in Deltarune are all based on game pieces, while the main antagonists are based on playing cards. Just like Undertale, the title bar of the game window becomes different things throughout the game, like Contact when doing the character creation, the Beginning when you're at the school, and the Return when you come back at the end. All of the gravestones in town read names of different amalgams from Alphys' lab near the end of Undertale. One of the amalgams in Undertale, Everyman, can be seen as graffiti in the alleyway with Alphys at the end of the game. During the Susie vs. Lancer fight, it's impossible to die, as Lancer's attacks will begin to miss. Inspecting all of the beds in the card castle will give you the title of Level 1 Bed Inspector. Using the manual Ralsei gave the player during battle will cause the enemies to fall asleep, allowing the usage of the Pacify spell. Tossing the manual will prompt Ralsei to pick it up and put it back, but tossing it again destroys it and hurts Ralsei's feelings. Taking the broken cake and giving it to the blacksmith will prepare it as the top cake, the highest healing item in the game. Taking the top cake to the baker, where the broken cake was found, will reward you with infinite split cakes, which heal less but are endless. Standing on the circle next to the lake in the town will prompt an appearance from Onion-san, who will allow you to name him. Scrolling through your stats will occasionally replace one of the stats with dog and an image of the annoying dog. The narrative of the Dark World is that it's all just a dream, so Chris's carbon fiber reinforced wooden sword is actually just a pencil. All of the items gathered in the Dark World become a single ball of junk once the player is returned to the Light World. In Undertale, the Deltarune is a symbol of the Dreamer family, a symbol that predates written history as a prophecy of an angel who has seen the surface, returning to the underground to depopulate the realm. In Deltarune, however, the symbol is instead a prophecy of a monster, human, and prince from the dark sealing the magic fountains and banishing the angel's heaven. During the shocking final scene where Chris rips out his own heart, the heart can still be controlled inside the cage by the player. Lancer, Rune, Clover, Hathy, and Jevil are all designed by artist Kano Tynes. Toby Fox has stated on Twitter that Kano Tynes' art in 2012 is what inspired him to want to make an RPG in the first place. The RPG that eventually became Undertale came from his desire to make a game, and the concept with Kano's characters was made into Deltarune at the same time. Deltarune Chapter 1 had been done a while before its actual release. Toby Fox was just waiting on the Japanese translation to be finished. The Japanese translator for Deltarune, Kaiko Fukuichi, is the same translator for Undertale. Laura Shigehara performed the song Don't Forget during the ending credits. She's also known for composing for Plants vs. Zombies, the entire To the Moon soundtrack, as well as her own project, Raccoon. Deltarune's announcement was a surprise to fans on October 30th of 2018 on the official Undertale Twitter, but the announcement was vague, leaving many people to expect an upcoming Undertale 2. Despite not appearing in Chapter 1 of Deltarune, Papyrus's dialogue sound can be found within the game's files. Among a few unused graphics is Ralsei's manual that can actually be read through. It seems this was removed early on, as the manual doesn't mention the axe command and states TP can be restored through saving. There's a page in Ralsei's manual that mentions the possibility of a dog command where a dog has eaten all of your commands, you can't do anything for the rest of your life. These icons actually exist in the game's files. A set of flower shop lights corresponding with the colors of the flowers in the flower shop can be found within the game's files. The trees in the Scarlet Forest were originally going to be different colors. An early sketch of the beach area can also be found within Deltarune's files. There's unused UI elements within the game, presumably to display whose turn it is. An unused placeholder sprite for Chris can be found within the game, probably used to test character movement and collision. Unused portraits of Ralsei and Susie can be found within the game's files, but Susie is colored in like a darkener, while in the final game she's monochrome, as she is a lightener. The earliest concept art for Deltarune dates as far back as almost 2014. There's a hidden boss known as Jevil that can be found found by collecting 3 key fragments after talking to a prisoner at the very bottom of the card castle. The first is with the shopkeeper in the fields, the second is in the forest, in a hidden path where the dancing figures are, and the last piece is the area above the checkerboard where you have to input the order of the rooms in the castle: diamond, heart, clover, spade. Once all pieces are gathered, repair them with the blacksmith and return to the prisoner for the hardest fight in the game. Beating Jevil violently will reward you with the best weapon in the game, whereas non-violently will award you with the best armor in the game. As stated in a twit longer Toby Fox posted after Deltarune's release, it apparently took years to put together Chapter 1 as a demo, with scripts dating back to 2015 and the initial concept way back in 2012. In the same twit longer, Toby states that the game will not have multiple endings like its predecessor and will have the same ending regardless of choices made while playing. Sans' eyeless face from Undertale is within the game's files, despite Sans not using this portrait in Deltarune. One of Chris's sprites in the light world is a sliding sprite, despite there being nowhere to slide in the light world. Temmie Chang, a character designer for Undertale and the inspiration for Temmie, lent her skills as a pixel artist for, in Toby Fox's words, basically everything that looked good. Deltarune is not a sequel to Undertale, as stated in a twit longer from Toby Fox. I will say that basically what you're seeing here is not the world of Undertale. Undertale's world and ending are the same as however you left them. If everyone was happy in your ending, the people in the Undertale world should still be happy, so please don't worry about those characters and that world. It will remain untouched. To rephrase that, Deltarune's world is a different one, with different characters that have lived different lives. A whole new story will happen. I don't know what you call this kind of game. It's just a game you can play after you complete Undertale if you want to. That's all. So much how Deltarune is Undertale rearranged, the story of Deltarune has the same characters as Undertale, but is a different story entirely. Hey everyone, thanks for watching another 50 Fast Facts. I know these videos have been few and far in between lately, and unfortunately I can't promise that will change anytime soon, but not without good reason. I have a lot of projects that have been on the back burner for years and I'm finally excited to get to them. So it may not seem evident by my upload schedule, but I am working hard. Alright, thanks for watching. Till next time, and hey, stay determined.